listen up there, YouTube. Chip here with the Iconic Sports Cycle Moto Vlog. What's up? Hey guys, you probably noticed I'm not on the muddy Yosung today. So what am I riding? Well, today I'm riding the 2016 Indian Scout. So guess what? It means it is time for another motorcycle review. So why am I on the Scout today? Well, imagine that, you know, I'm on a sport bike 80 miles a day, 6 days a week, and yeah, my chain wore out. So it's in the shop having a new chain and gears put on. So I decided to rent this Indian Scout for a couple of days till I get my bike fixed, and really enjoying it. Gotta tell you, this is one of the nicest little bikes out there. Build quality is, it's pretty phenomenal actually. I mean, if you just look at the way they build this thing, the way it's put together, it's got a cast aluminum frame, not a tubular steel, so that's different. But you know, the nice thing is, I mean, this is a really solid feeling motorcycle. I mean, it doesn't give you the typical cruiser feel of a bike that's not very tight, you know. It's pretty responsive. I'll go over some of the reasons for that here in just a few minutes. But it's for a cruiser, man, this thing's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm taking it through one of my favorite areas, the perimeter road around the airport. It's one of my favorite areas to ride my sport bike because it's got a lot of twists and turns. And normally wouldn't be so much fun on a cruiser, but this isn't so bad. I gotta say, it glides through the corners pretty nicely. It's pretty confident. The thing is, it's still a cruiser. You know, I have tried to grow up several times in my life and buy a cruiser, and it never really works out too well. I always end up going back to a sport bike. You know, I kind of grew up on those cafe racers. You know, the more aggressive riding position, really more cutting edge, you know, geometry, the suspension for steering and braking. So you know, it's what I'm used to. But you know, it's really kind of hard to find a flaw with this bike. It's got a great sound to it. It has a 60-degree V-twin. It's 1133 cc's. Makes 100 horsepower. Now that you know, on a 500-pound motorcycle, that's a lot of fun. It has, you know, the kind of the power to weight ratio of a sport bike. But got a little bit of peg there. So I have to be a little bit more careful as far as these corners because it doesn't have the ground clearance that I'm used to. It is a fun bike, however. So, what are the things that I like about it? Well, gotta tell you, it's one of the best looking cruisers that you can lay your eyes on. It's got a low seat height, so it's pretty easy to get on, and it's very manageable. I gotta tell you, the way the handlebars are set up, it's got, you know, pretty wide tires, so grips the road really well. It's got a really light, maneuverable feel to it. Steers really easy. You know, it's got a great look. All the parts, finish is great. I love the old school dial right here. That's really neat. You know, it is an old school dial in that it has that classic Indian, you know, color scheme. You know, it has that, you know, look with the chrome bezel. So it has an old look. But down here in this bottom part of the screen, it has a very modern, functional digital display. And over here on this handlebar, there's a trigger behind the switch gear. And you can change the information settings in the screen, so you get the opportunity to monitor different things. Right now I'm watching the tach, but you can monitor engine temperature, direction, trips 1 and 2. So there's quite a bit of information to monitor there. It's got the time on it. I like having a clock. It's got a gear indicator. I like that. You know, I'm old. I think I've been on bikes all my life. You know, gotta be okay without a gear indicator because most of the early bikes didn't have them. But you know, I gotta be honest, I really like a gear indicator. Something I wish my Yosung had, but it's you know, it's not a necessity, but I do like it. When I get down the end of the road here, I'll do a little walk around the bike, get you a good look at it. These are really great looking bikes. Build quality is pretty phenomenal. It has a very comfortable riding position. You know, it's you know, it's the sit up and bag, or you know, it's that easy riding position. You know, the handlebars are kind of just right. Your arms just kind of lay there. You know, feet forward. Now, that is the thing that I have the most problem with. You know, this is the thing that most people buy a cruiser for, this comfortable riding position. Well, I would physically, it is very comfortable. But compared to what I'm used to, that's what, well, again, it's all what you're used to. I'm uncomfortable on the bike, not because there's anything wrong with the bike, because this is, like I said, a pretty phenomenal bike. The saddle on it's a good solid saddle. It's leather. It's, you know, I mean, it's everything you could possibly ask for in a motorcycle. But it's all what you're used to, you know, and I'm used to something that's got a little bit more sporty riding position. I'm used to either rear sets or, you know, a mid-control bike. Forward control bikes I've never really kind of got the hang of. And you wouldn't think, well, that's not a big deal, really. I mean, you know, it's not that big a deal. But every time I'm coming to a stop, I'm reaching in the wrong place for my to put my feet. The other thing is, I don't really feel like I'm in total control. I feel more like I'm just along for the ride. I don't know if the video caught that, but a little raccoon just ran in there. So anyways, you know, these are, like I said, this is a really good quality bike. I can't tell you there's anything wrong with this bike. I would highly recommend it for anybody. However, it's not the bike for me. And again, it has nothing to do with, I gotta tell you, it's one of the best performing little bikes you'll ever get on. In fact, if they could put this engine and transmission in a sport bike, if anybody's listening out there, you future Eric Buells, this would be a phenomenal engine and transmission to have in a sport bike. So, you know, if anybody that feels that creative and has that kind of bankroll. But, yeah, this is a really great bike. Here, I'll pull right over here so I can do a quick walk around so you got a good look at it. Hey, a little neutral light, come on. It has a pretty easy to find kickstand. Some of the Harley cruisers, you know, they bury their kickstands. Now this one has the optional saddlebags. They don't come with saddlebags. These saddlebags are the Indian brand. They, you know, they go on. They bolt on these. They have to add these spools right here, which also will accommodate a backrest if you need it to. It's got that cool old style light on it. Now it's you know, it's got that really bright look like an LED, but it's not really. But it has that great look. It's got now the regular Scout. Now this is the standard Scout with the 1133cc engine. They also offer one with a 999cc engine and a 5-speed. Now that model has a black painted frame. It has very little chrome on it. It has no machine work on the wheels or the cylinder head, so it's a little different. It doesn't have the chrome handlebars. It's got the blacked out bars, and it's the lead of it has a black ring on the headlight, and it's the lead of the headlight cover. I mean the wiring cover here. But this is a really cool bike. The way the shocks are offset, you know, it absorbs the bumps really well. As you can, this is the cast aluminum frame we were talking about, and it's also got the cast aluminum frame that is also the radiator shroud. You'll notice it is a single disc brake front and rear. However, this is a very competent braking. You'll notice the stainless steel brake line on there. It offers a great feel, brake feel. It's really confidence inspiring. Kind of a little cool thing they do here is they always notch those the clutch and brake levers. If the bike was to fall over or crash, the lever will break here instead of up here. Still get you home. Kind of a neat design. I love all the Indian branding that they do on everything. It really makes it kind of stand out. The American pickers guys, 50 years from now will be able to pick out all these parts in the junkyard pretty easily because it's pretty well branded. All metal fenders, nice finish work on the forks. The machine work on the wheels. Now the standard Scout comes with the black wheel, same wheel, but it doesn't have all the machine work in it, so it doesn't, doesn't show so much. Now this is of course, the colorful side of the engine with all the chrome, the dual pipes. Great sounding bike, even with the stock pipes on it. I've heard these with some of the aftermarket pipes on there and the stage 1 pipes that they offer. They're pretty nice. Now I rented this from Eaglerider Motorcycle in Orlando, Florida, over there by the airport on Jetport Drive. My bike was in the shop up there, so it seemed like an easy way to get home and have some transportation for a couple of days while the bike is being fixed. But highly recommend the bike. Again, if you like a cruiser, this is a great cruiser. Now a lot of guys will say, hey, well, is it a ladies' bike because it's a small bike? No, not really. I could see ladies being very comfortable on the bike. Like I said, it does have a very low seat height, so it's it's easy to get you flat-footed on there. And it's very manageable. I mean, it's the wide bars. Even though it's got a wide tire, it's the wide bars make it very easy to maneuver. So I'd highly recommend it for anybody. But the thing is that with the 100 horsepower, this thing's a lot of fun. So a lot of the guys just really like this bike. Like I said, it does have the power to weight ratio of a sport bike, so it's kind of got that sport bike personality, even though it's a cruiser. And again, this is my issue with the bike right here, the riding position, the forward controls. And again, nothing wrong with the bike. It's just my personal preference, and I think that makes a big difference. Now, could I get used to this if I was on it for a long period of time? Probably. I've owned cruisers in the past. I've had a Harley and I had a Honda Shadow. But I did buy the Shadow RS because, hey, it had big controls. You know, I'm more comfortable on a sport bike. I like having that weight on the front tire where it's, you know, seems like steering response is a little quicker. Although, like I said, this thing, you know, throws real nice. This thing just glides. You know, it's hard to fault this bike for anything. Again, the only complaint I have about the bike is nothing to do with the bike. It's just my personal riding style. So therefore, you know, I got to give it high marks for pretty much everything. It's a bike, like I said, I could, you know, recommend to anybody. The overall build quality, I mean, if you look at the bottom of the gas tank, it's not a seam, you know, it's all machined back there on the bottom there. It's just really nicely done. And as I was saying earlier, you know, with the way the brakes are designed on this, with the stainless steel lines, you know, it has a really great feel. I mean, it doesn't have the feeling like of a dual disc brake setup where, you know, you got a really strong bite, but it's very confidence inspiring. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to bring it to a confident stop, even in like panic situations. I've actually had the opportunity in the short time I've been on here to have some panic situations because of the way people drive around here, but you know, it is what it is. That's the adventures of riding a motorcycle in Florida. You never know what you're going to run into. I have this kind of theory about Florida drivers, because it's not really Florida drivers. I mean, Florida isn't a place you're born or raised. For the most part, it's a kind of a place you end up from all over the world, and you know, it seems like the driving practices of people from everywhere just don't mix together in one area. So it's just one of those things, you know, you have to be on your toes, keep an eye out for the other guy, you know. You always see the watch for motorcycles bumper sticker, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people watching out too much. This bike does have a nice tone. If, you know, I think it would have a really great tone with a nice 2-in-1 exhaust on it, but you know, the only one that I've seen so far is the Dirty Bird, which has the large turnout, like it looks like this, you know, it's got an exhaust tailpipe the size of you know, like a diesel truck. You know, it's pretty big. It looks really cool. The sound level, well, it's pretty obnoxious. You know? And I know there are a lot of people that like obnoxious. You know, I'm not one of them. You know, I like a little tone. You know, they get a little flat sounding when the exhaust gets too free flowing. But yeah, this bike, it does everything really well. Again, on a cruiser, you probably wouldn't normally, you know, enjoy a ride on a road like this that much. You know, it does have a lot of tight, you know, twists and turns. But on this bike, yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, a lot of the guys, you know, back in 2002 when Harley Davidson came out with the V-Rod, you know, in that liquid silver color, you know, I thought, wow, what a great looking bike. You know, look at the performance of that bike. You know, what a phenomenal machine. Now, a lot of the Harley guys, because they didn't see it as a true Harley, didn't like it. But, you know, I always thought, you know, it's a really great looking bike. I've had a chance to ride a couple of the newer versions, you know, the Night Rod and the Muscle Rod and things like that. Really cool bikes. Probably some of the best looking bikes, I think, in the cruiser world. You know, great performance. But again, I just can't get used to this forward control thing, you know. And again, nothing wrong with the bikes, it's just me. So about the 2016 Indian Scout, yep, highly recommend them. Give them 2 thumbs up. I think that if you haven't had the opportunity to test ride one, you should head over to the local dealer. My local dealer happens to be Indian Motorcycle of Orlando, down on Jetport Drive in Orlando. So if you get an opportunity to come by and take one of these things for a ride, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think it'll be worth your time. If you're thinking about buying any type of performance cruiser, because you know, there are a couple of them out there. You know, and Harley Davidson just came out with their new Roadster and everything. It's a cool looking bike. But you know, this thing's a little different. It's got the V-twin on this one is water cooled. It is a twin overhead cam. Now, the nice thing, you know, V-twins are known for their kind of good mid-range power and torque, and this bike certainly has that. Twin overhead cam engine. This thing breathes in the upper end, so you know, a lot of these sport cruisers, these V-twins, you know, they lack that that breathability up in the higher RPMs. Not an issue on this bike at all. This thing is well, very Ducati-ish in its ability to rev past the 5,000 RPM, you know, line. And it has a great, like I said, because it, you know, it is a V-twin, it does have a great sound when you get it up to those speeds. And again, here I am just floating through the corners now. On a cruiser, this isn't normal. This is usually more of a chore, but this is a chore. On a cruiser, this would be more of a chore, but this is a lot of fun. So, do I recommend the Indian Scout? Absolutely. So guys, I want to thank you for riding along today with me on this test ride of the 2016 Scout. I hope I gave you information that's useful to you in the future. If you're thinking about buying a cruiser, like I said, I'd highly recommend this bike for just about anybody, except for me. But again, it is nothing to do with the bike. It is all to do with me. So thanks for checking in with me, watching my channel. Remember to like and subscribe. And this is Chip from the Iconic Sports Cycle. Talk to you real soon. Bye.